G'day. Now, what I'm going to explain is how a meditation technique works. In a nutshell, it's very, very, very simple. The basic principle is actually nothing more than relaxing and maintaining mental alertness. That's it, really. There are a lot of complicated techniques out there, there are lots of systems, lots of philosophies, a lot of traditions. It's all basically the same stuff, just different ways of going about it. Complicated, usually quite unnecessarily, with some elaborate philosophy or some very strange belief structure or some idea of what the ultimate reality is. Um, a lot of fluff and nonsense is attached to this stuff. It's not hard. It's simple. Uh, now, the most common, lots of techniques. The most common sort of technique basically is a form of sensory deprivation. You're sitting in a dark room, you're concentrating your attention on some minute uh, object or experience. Now, a technique isn't meditation, all right? That's something to understand. What techniques do is that they'll create a condition of the mind which is more relaxed than is your habitual state. Um, Sometimes a complete inner silence. And that lasts for a little period of time, and then the habits of mind return. Now, meditation techniques are useful. They are interesting. They've got some value, but the value is limited. It's limited to gaining that initial experience of a silent mind, which is a temporary thing, but it alerts you that such a thing exists. Once you know that those kinds of states of mind are available to you, the technique has done its job. Chuck it out now, finish with it, and actually proceed to meditation. Now, the difference between a technique and meditation, in meditation, you're searching for why isn't the mind quiet and relaxed all the time? Why is the mind constantly, you know, jumping from thing to thing, and why are we constantly agitated, and why are we constantly thinking things over and over and over again? Now, meditation is uncovering the reasons why you think, why you're disturbed, and resolving those issues, and eventually reaching a state where you have an untroubled mind. Endlessly practicing a technique to gain those states um, is only repeating experience. It's not progressing. It's like the classic story of the salesman who approaches to be hired, and he says, "I've got 20 years experience." And he's not hired. And when the boss wants to ask the human relations guy, "Why didn't you hire that guy? He's got 20 years experience." The answer comes back, "No, I don't think he has 20 years experience. He has 1 year's experience 20 times over." Well, that's the same situation people get into by endlessly practicing a meditation technique. Um, why a meditation technique produces that result is it mimics a state. Uh, Typically, most techniques ask you to concentrate on, some object of attention. Um, yeah, and it doesn't really matter what that is, just so long as it narrows down the attention span. And the usual instruction is when your mind wanders, keep coming back to that focus point that you've chosen. Well, what you're doing there is you're suppressing your normal thinking process. And you keep that up for a period of time and you succeed. And what you're left with is a mind which is temporarily untroubled by these habitual thoughts. And you have a quiet mind for a period of time. But that's not getting to the heart of meditation. That's not understanding why you are thinking and what's going on that's bothering you, or why do you have a mind which is out of control. All you're doing is temporarily experiencing a mind which isn't out of control. Now, that's the only value of these techniques, is to become aware that there is such a thing as a silent mind, and it's actually an improvement on your normal state of being. Um, in Zen, they've got two terms. They've got this term Kensho and Satori. Well, they're kind of slang terms, you know. They do represent something, but Kensho is kind of slang for getting the idea, having a first experience. And Satori is the state of being in that silent mind as an abiding state. Um, Now, the principles of meditation are, in a nutshell, just learning how to be relaxed and learning how to stay alert. Um, a beginner, right, practicing meditation as opposed to a technique, okay, um, they're going to discover agitation pretty quickly. And what that agitation is, it's the subconscious activity of the mind becoming more conscious. And when it becomes more conscious to you, when it's more visible to you as an activity of your own mind, then you've got the opportunity to investigate and explore it and understand it. Now, in previous videos, I've tried to explain that it's the emotions that are key to the whole process. Every thought that you're going to have, which is an agitation, has got an emotional driver to it. And a lot of thinking is really about trying to feel different about things, trying to find a solution. Oh, I'm troubled. How can I get out of this problem? I don't like how I feel. What can I do about it? Now, meditation is a totally different way of dealing with these things. Instead of trying to change things, you examine them, try to understand them. Notice how you feel. Now, when your attention turns from what you're thinking to how you feel about things, you're getting much closer to why you're thinking in the first place. And that, in essence, is a non-conceptual thing, because it's before you think about things. You feel, and it creates a thought, or a narrative in your mind, or a storyline, which you might be repeating endlessly. Dealing with the feelings and becoming accustomed to those feelings and accepting them is a way of non-conceptually integrating those things. Um, Life throws up all kinds of experiences, and so long as you don't get stuck on anything in particular, life flows on. Now, that's meditation as opposed to a meditation technique. And why meditation is because being relaxed, being alert, is a natural state to be in. And when you are agitated or disturbed or troubled, understanding why you are troubled and dealing with it at that level is the path to recapturing that state of mind. Now, silence of mind. There'll be people watching this who have been long-term meditators, and so they'll understand this. And if you're new to meditation, this is what to expect. There's a state of mind where it's a silence, and it's quite startling when it first occurs. It's like there's been some kind of background noise, like you're living in a busy street, and suddenly one day the traffic stops, and you've been accustomed to that traffic noise, and suddenly when it's not there, you notice its absence. Or there's some kind of radio that's been going and it turns off. And there's this, oh, silence. Whoa. Now, that's the silent mind. And it's not a vagued out, you know, semi-trance state. It's actually quite vivid experience of mind. It's clarity of mind. And that's an untroubled state of mind. And that's what you're shooting for when you're meditating, to have as your habitual experience clarity of mind, untroubled and undisturbed, where whatever you are experiencing, you're alive to it in the moment. Now, that's meditation. A meditation technique is only there as a way for you to discover that state of mind. And once you know that that's what's available, the meditation technique has done its job. It has no further use, because you got that state of mind by suppressing your thoughts, and it's mimicking a state of mind which is at ease. But to actually abide in that state of mind which is at ease, you need to not be troubled by internal emotional conflict. And discovering that emotional conflict is the path to having a silent mind pretty much all the time, an untroubled state. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, there might be more to discover. Maybe some of these traditions have got the answer, and the answer isn't 42. But the value of meditation is it leads to an untroubled state of mind. Pretty simple. And when you boil it all down, when you get rid of all of the extravagant nonsense that's out there, the basic principle is just very simple. It's being relaxed and being alert. That's it. Very, very simple. So that's it. See you later.